All right, I want to pitch my new show. I feel like From. I feel like I feel like From was a good pitch, but season 2 has been a real letdown. Like maybe one good episode, maybe one good episode's worth of events have happened in season 2. You know what I mean? The rest of it's been filler and nonsense.
I agree 100%.
It took him an hour to cut that body open, and that's just inexcusable.
Yes.
Like I said, why are we going inside with it? Get your knife out. We don't need tools. Hack it open. Who cares if we make a mess? Let's see what's inside. It's not our friend that we need to be respectful over the way we cut him open. Like, oh, Taylor died. We have to find out what he ate. We need to know which mushroom he ate. Cut him open. We'd be so respectful.
Turns out it was salted meats.
Turned out it was just spoiled eggs.
Good God. His heart popped. Like what sort of demon did this?
There's this new show called Silo.
Yeah, there's an enormous amount of cheese in this cavernous midday.
This is where all the cheese went. Yeah. we hung Larry over the missing cheese. Taylor's colon has 18 pounds of compacted cheddar in it.
I look at him. He wasn't even enjoying it. Barely chewed. Like just like
you can see the sedimentary layers of crackers. He made himself a whole charcuterie board with a week's worth of rations. This new show though, Silo. It's actually it's brand new. So I think Apple TV. The new HBO is fucking Apple. They make premier high budget programming with A-list stars in it. And that's what Silo is kind of feeling like so far. So it's really interesting. The characters, there are 10,250 some odd people living underground in a silo. I don't know how many levels it is. I'm sure they've said it, but it's hundreds of levels. And there's a level with cattle on it. You know, there's levels.
Are they trapped?
That's the thing. Up top is poison, and they sort of have this saying. It's almost like yes. Well, they speak English.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
It's almost like their Pledge of Allegiance. It goes something like, we don't know why we're in the silo. We don't know how long we've been here. We just know that we don't know when it'll be safe to go up top. We know that time is not now. They have this camera view of what it looks like up top, and it's like a wasteland. They have this one view. Mm-hmm. And when someone is punished, they're sent out to clean. And so they get sent out up top in a suit, and they clean the camera off so we can get a better view of the wasteland so no one forgets just how horrific it is out there. And then the poison kills them within like 30 seconds of that. They got like a minute or two to survive up there, and then they die. And you can see the bodies that just always there.
There's some room for shenanigans in this, right?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
So our characters are start off being the sheriff. He's this black gentleman who I like a lot. And Rashida Jones, is the actress's name. She was in The Office. She played Jim's girlfriend from Stanford.
Oh, I like her. She was in Parks and Rec.
She kills it in episode 1. She's what got me so into the show. Just fucking balls deep. There's a lot going on. It's a bit of a fascist society because things are so limited. You have to get permission to reproduce, and they take your birth control out, and now you can try to have a baby. Only like 200 babies a year, or maybe 10 babies a year. It's something very small. And there's a mayor. There's a sheriff. There's law enforcement. And I don't want to spoil.
Fallout vault.
It reminds me a lot of Fallout. There's a lot of Fallout influences. It reminds me a lot of Planet of the Apes. How there's that forgotten. You know, we used to be. They don't know what's. I don't want to spoil too much about what they know because you're kind of fed that over time. Right off the bat, you don't have this huge moment of exposition like in a classroom where, and children, what happened then? Like they don't do that for you. So I'm 6 episodes in now. And
are you caught up?
Episode 7 comes out tomorrow. And I haven't seen episode 6 yet. I'm on it. So I'm almost caught up. It is really good. The mysteries in this, they start off and they're like, hey, we don't know about this, we don't know about that. The next episode, they tell you. Next episode, they go down there and look at that. There it is. You know, I was so happy that these characters are all intelligent. They all have conversations amongst each other. I do think one of the things that's happened, this isn't much of a spoiler, is that the people that they're letting reproduce are the more docile people, the people who don't ask too many questions, the people who go with the program and salute the flag, you know, because all the characters seem like they're a little slow to pick things up at first. They're slow to question the status quo, but slowly the status quo begins to unravel and everyone starts asking questions. Our main characters in particular. It's real good. I can't recommend it
How much
enough.
is out? One season?
6 episodes are out. The 7th episode comes out tomorrow, Friday. And I'm assuming it's going to be 10. It's been great. It's been great. There's 3 or 4 main characters that are quite good. And like every episode, there's more mystery. But then at the same time, we progress and we go do a thing. Shit happens. I'm really digging. And the budget's good. Like the silo itself looks cool. Like it's all their imagery looks cool. They have flags. They have like pins.
All right, god damn it! How much is Apple? $8.
Yeah, $8.
The first, have you had it before?
No, I've never had Apple.
I'm pretty
TV.
sure there's a 3-month free trial, which is pretty far.
Okay,
yeah,
that gives me a lot of time to forget I signed up for that.
Yeah.
I'm
Apple
sure they
doesn't-
didn't think of that.
Dude, I bled money into Motor Trend for 2 years as an addition to Prime because I wanted to watch all the old Top Gears. I watched them all in like all the ones I wanted to in like 4 days in 2020. And then 3 months ago, I remembered to cancel it.
I forget who it was. Kyle and I might have been the same guy, Twitch streamer. And I'm like, what? He quit Twitch like 2 years ago, and I've been reliably giving him $5 a month all this time.
Yeah, I do that. Like, I'll get a thing on my phone that's like, you have just paid $4.99, and I'm like, at some point this month we'll rectify that.
You charge it back? Damn.
No, not chargeback. I mean, I'll turn off
like
the
to turn it
subscription at
off.
some point. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I canceled Netflix the other day. I've had it for 12 years. I'm a 12-year subscriber. They immediately like, hey, don't do it. We'll take a little off, and I'm like, no, that's not the problem. And I'm done with Netflix. There's nothing good on there that I really want to watch.
Yeah.
And like,
It's become a Seinfeld service for me.
it's a Seinfeld service, and I figure whenever I'm ready to watch Seinfeld again, I'll give them $20, and I'll watch Seinfeld that month, and then take it away. But it's
I'm about
just
to do the same. It just sucks.
and it has nothing to do with them taking the them taking the multi thing away. I would have hung in there because I got like 2 hanger-ons, on my account. I don't mind that a bit. Hop on board, guys. But now that they're not going to get the benefit, it's like, hey, I was kind of keeping it for them, but now we're getting out of here because I'm certainly not going to have a Netflix at my house that doesn't work that I pay for. That's not happening.
Like scrolling through Netflix really is like just digging through a garbage can looking for like edible food. Like it's mostly just absolute trash.
It's so
and then like
goddamn
you'll
woke,
scroll
too.
past something that sounds awesome and you're like, whoa, and then you open it up and it's like Turkish and everybody's name is 65 letters long and then it's like poorly dubbed. Like I find myself watching shit like that on Netflix more because it's like I'd rather watch a badly dubbed show that has like an interesting plot than just some stupid nonsense on Netflix that they're pumping out.
Well, again, I can't recommend Silo enough. I love the mystery of why we're in the silo and here's another thing. This isn't a spoiler. You learn this right away. History ends 140 years ago. That's all they've got because there was a rebellion, and in the rebellion, everything got deleted and erased. Their technology. They have computers, and they have like an IT guy. It's Tim Robbins, fucking Andy Dufresne from
Shawshank.
He's an older gentleman now, and he's perfect for this role. He's just a piece of shit. He's like a nitpicker. He runs the IT department, and he's very precise about his job. But the computers kind of look like Fallout computers. They're kind of like these somewhere between a tube and it's sort of rounded and squared off the way these tube monitors work. I really like that. I think it even has green font, like green,
it's like a
text on the
boob tube,
screens.
like those old,
Yeah.
what are they called, like a CRT?
Yeah, no flat screens, no flat screen technology, because they've been down there. We don't know how long they've been down there. It could have been 10,000 years. I don't know. But again, 140 years ago is as far back as history goes, and they don't know much of anything. Well, as this time sort of goes on, they don't know the basics of what life is like outside this bunker and the things that wouldn't exist there. Like they've never seen more water than would fill a sink or a bathtub. how would they? So that's
No, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah.
Dig a
So
hole.
real fun show. I'm really loving it. I'm gonna watch it as soon as I get off here. I'm hyped about it.
I'll start that too, so I can chat about it with you. I
won't
did
regret
watch-
it. I found a new TV show that's pretty good. All right, it's called Snowpiercer. You remember the movie Snowpiercer?
Yes.
Movie
Where
was
they're on
watching
the train, that
like
the world is
dystopian.
frozen over.
You're eating the bug bars.
Eating the bug bars. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Whatever.
So there's a TV show, and it's actually pretty fucking good. Like one season's already out, and the second season is like debuting right now. Like season 2, episode 1 came out last week.
What's it on?
I think it's on TNT, but I watched it on HBO, and I think it might be on Amazon too. It's pretty good. I liked it. It's extremely violent. I've seen enough nudity to keep me interested, and I like the characters, and I like the. At first, I was like, "How are you going to make that movie into a TV show and keep that going episodically?"
Is it an even bigger train?
It's the same train. It's just a different story. It's it's
Is this
There's
a prequel to it, or
no. This is ignoring the movie.
It's just the movie again, but longer.
It's all right. No. It's a TV show called Snowpiercer.
So it's the movie, but
About-
shorter. I get it.
It's a
Say no
TV
more.
show called- TV show called Snowpiercer about the movie Snowpiercer.
No, forget the movie.
Okay, I've forgotten it. But what does it have to do with the movie?
Everything and nothing.
Everything.
All right. Like the characters are all different. The story is different. However, it does take place on a train that is, was created by Mr. Wilford. And there
Yes.
are the people called the tailies who are in the tail of the train, who are like the shitty class, who like are really just stowaways. They didn't have tickets. They barged onto the train and they got shoved back there, and they've had to resort to cannibalism, and they're all filthy back there. And then there's the third class, second class, and first class people. And the first class people are all snooty, and they've got like hundreds of millions of dollars invested. That's why they are in the first class. And Jennifer Connelly is like the star of the show, and she's like the head of hospitality, and she's like the face, the forward-facing face of Mr. Wilford, as it were. She's the one who's out there solving problems and getting to the bottom of things.
If I were an uber wealthy guy who was making a train for this purpose, I would never make the train big enough to support thousands of stowaways should that happen.
He didn't. That's why
for elite rich people.
Yeah, he didn't. That's why they're like really having a hard time back there in the back and eating those disgusting bars of food and resorting to cannibalism, and they're always killing them off and taking away their breeding rights.
Oh. Well, I guess that makes sense. You are on a train. You can't be having a bunch of kids.
I highly value my breeding rights. You might. I feel like. Look, I don't want kids. I just want practice. And
Yeah.
Oh, you can have all the practice you want, but they sterilize the women.
well, that's actually that's.
Oh, that doesn't affect me at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Never mind. Now I'm
No
on
problem
board.
with that at all.
You just got to muscle down some bug bars and get used to.
This all happens in the first episode, but just to give you a general idea of what the story is about, a murder happens aboard the train amongst like the first or second class people, like the snooty people, and they got to get to the bottom of it. So Jennifer Connelly finds out by searching through the passenger manifest that in the tail of the train there is a guy who used to be a homicide detective. So they pull him out of the tail to like investigate this murder, and so he's suddenly getting exposed to like real food and being able to see the sun for the first time in 7 years, and like going through all of that. And it's pretty fucking cool to like see him slowly like get out of the haze of living in the shit end of the train and like
Dude,
get accustomed.
They come down to the shit end of the train. They can ask any occupation. I'm standing up. We have a professional cocksucker. Yeah, fucking let me in the front. Let me in the front. Do we have a guy we could just beat indiscriminately? I'm your man.
I can take a punch.
Headshots
Yeah.
only, please. It's really, I've got Homer
Can I
Simpson
have
head.
a cup of water? Yeah.
But
Kyle, why are
but-
they stuck on the train? That's important.
So
to me.
what happened was use of fossil fuels, global warming was happening, and then I think there was also like a war, maybe a nuclear war.
Yeah, I think
And the world was getting really hot as a result of all of that. So the scientists created this stuff that they would launch into the atmosphere to create a cooling effect, but it sort of ran away with them, and it cooled, like the surface is negative 120 degrees Celsius.
they
And
did
I
a
had
great job.
and I had to Google that. That's negative 180 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's so
Constant
cold.
carries, that's one. Oh Jesus fucking Christ! It's going to be
It's so-
freezing out here.
It's so cold on the outside that they utilize the cold air outside as like a torture and execution method.
Oh, I
like-
remember that. They stick the yeah.
They put the people's hand out the porthole and like freeze their arms off and then shatter them with a hammer. But then there's a scene where like they just have a hose hooked up so they can just apply a little cold air at a time and like freeze a finger off if they want. And like the execution method is called like ice lungs or something like that, where they like put a breathing apparatus on you and they hook the cold air up so you inhale it and then just freeze your insides and kill you that way. Like there's all
After that,
huh?
do they eat them after
They
that?
compost you.
Oh, I was wondering why they didn't just airlock them out. Like,
Yeah, or just throw them off the.
Yeah, because of the limited resources. They want the bodies for compost. And the show does a really good job of showing just how enormous the train is. It's like it's over 1,000 cars long. And there's this part where like they're in the tail and they're talking. They're like, they're never going to give us like our own beds and a place to stay. He's like, dude, they've got a bowling alley up there. All right. They have room for us. Like, because they've got a bowling alley. They've got like an aquarium.
Can you imagine a dumber sport to play on a moving train?
I didn't think that through.
Maybe pool.
Pool, ping pong.
At least you're not going to die from a pool table.
Dude, on these Disney cruises, there's ping pong tables up on like the deck next to the pools and stuff. And it's like
Gyroscope.
everything's moving around and imagine ping pong in like a boat that's going 19 miles an hour through 30-mile-an-hour wind. Like what? This is the worst game ever. The balls are just zipping all over one side.
So many balls just go into the sea.
You hit it at the other guy and it stops and goes back at you.
Like,
Yeah, it's a pretty good show. And there's a lot of class warfare going on. That's what made me think of it is this Wall Street bet stuff. Some of the first class passengers are just like actually literally evil. So that's really fun. Jennifer Connelly is super hot as she always is.
How far are you into it?
I finished the first season today, and I watched the first episode of the second season. And again, I like to avoid spoilers, but they introduce a huge new character played by an actor we all know in the beginning of the second season. Like a really
actor it is isn't a spoiler. We don't even know who he's playing.
Al thinks it is a spoiler, so maybe take his judgment.
It's a big actor. He's in some of our favorite movies and TV shows.
No, Tom
Homer
Cruise.
Simpson.
Do you guys watch Black Mirror?
No, but Kitty
yeah.
was watching it the other night, and I peeked in and I saw that it was like a robot dog chasing a woman, and I was fascinated. It looked very cool.
That episode is actually the worst one of the season.
All right.
There's like no.
But on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll like 6 it. Like it wasn't awful to me.
Oh, I thought it was awful. But like, give me your impressions, Woody, of this. I've seen most of the season. There was one episode that I missed. I don't remember the name.
Yeah, it's like
we'll try not
this
to
might have been
spoil
the
this.
weakest Black Mirror season, and by the way, we'll avoid spoilers. And I still think it's like a 7, you know. And there were episodes that I would have 9s. Like I really like Black Mirror.
Yeah, it's entertaining. Most of the time, there are some episodes that are just stupid, and where you can clearly tell it's like they're like, all right, we need 6 episodes. Oh, what if like someone got trapped in a cell phone? Oh, what if it turns out that what we were doing the whole time wasn't even a thing? You know, and it's like, what? Like, no. What if they were simulations or the whole time? It's like that's happened in every season so far.
This is not a spoiler to say this, but there was an episode in a previous year where like
your popularity on it was Facebook-ish really mattered, right? So I want a 5-star Taylor all the time, and that's helping him in his whole life. And then there was an episode this year, again, not a spoiler, you'll see this in the first minute of it, where you have to wear an up-down. Oh, no, shit, I'm mixing it up with the Orville. There's an Orville episode where there's popularity. I messed it up. They still.
Oh, okay.
But I will say that I think some of the Black Mirror themes were just variations on shows they did in previous seasons. And
a lot of it is like they will start with a premise that's supposed to be really deep, and then all it will ever boil down to is like a really good, evil, black, white kind of like the good guy wins in the end by outsmarting the evil scientist / researcher / whoever. Like it's they try and build all these deep premises and everything, but in the end, so much of the time, it's like, oh, so none of that we even watched even mattered. Like it was all a dream, or all a simulation, or all in a computer chip, or out in space. Like I'm trying to like intentionally vagarize.
Yeah, I hear you. I disagree though, because I watch Black Mirror and I think, oh, sometimes the good guy doesn't win in this show. Sometimes you just finish and it's kind of sad. And
really?
Yeah, and I like that it makes me feel bad. Like there was one, what was the one where the black guy worked really hard and bought credits to get on like American Idol or something? And
that was
like,
a couple seasons ago, yeah.
Yeah, but no one ends up happy in that.
No, that was an interesting one, and that was one of their best episodes. I liked that a lot. This season, I agree with you, is totally the weakest.
But still better than most shows, I think.
Yeah, in a way. It gets a little silly just with how far-fetched it is. Like, I don't know, that dog episode Kyle was talking about, that was so bad. Like, I got 40 minutes into that before I was like, I don't know why I'm still watching this. Nothing has happened. Nothing has been explained. It's just I'm supposed to infer things about this world, and then the episode ends, and it's like, wait, you were just hoping that I would infer something deep and insightful about this world, and then you could be like, yeah, that's what I meant, totally.
Oh, you didn't
totally
get
what I meant.
You got the reveal at the very end, though, right?
Oh yeah, I got the reveal at the end.
It's pretty straightforward. But like you said, I don't know how that world got in that state, and they never really laid it out for you.
Yep.
And
without any backstory, I don't have any thought process to build on, because the entire time you're like, what situation is this that this person's in? And if it's like a murder mystery where it's happening in the real world, I can use clues and things to piece it together. But if it's some apocalyptic kind of future, then I can only go by what is explained to me.
I miss the Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone beats the fuck out of Black Mirror. Not even close. Not even close.
It's been so long since I've seen it. But I will say, Black Mirror drew me in enough that I actually binge watched the whole thing in one night.
I fucking love the Twilight Zone. My favorite episode, I've got a couple favorites, but one of the ones that made me cry is the one where this old man goes hunting, and I've talked about this before, but the old man goes hunting, and he's raccoon hunting, and his dog jumps in the water to chase a raccoon, and I guess they're like fighting in the water, and he jumps in the water after it, and then he wakes up the next day on the bank of the creek, and he's like, oh man, I can't believe we made it out of that one, boy. And they're walking along, and it's called The Hunt, if anyone wants to watch it. And they come along, and this guy's like, he's standing there and by this gate, and he's like, hey, sir, come on in. He's like, you died last night, didn't you know? When you jumped in the river? Well, this is the kingdom of heaven right here, son. Come on in. And he's like, oh, man, I can't believe I'm dead. Come on, Duke. Oh, no, sir. Your dog can't come. There aren't any dogs allowed in heaven. He's like, what do you mean Duke can't come? And the dog's barking and stuff. He's like, well, if Duke can't come, I'm not going. And he keeps walking along, and he finally comes upon another guy by a gate, and he's like, hey, come on in. This is the kingdom of heaven right here. And he's like, well, that's what that other guy said, but he said Duke couldn't come in. He's like, of course Duke can come into heaven. That was Satan. He was trying to get you to go to hell. And I don't remember I was crying because it was so sweet. He's like, oh, Duke, you knew better, didn't you, boy? Of course dogs are allowed in heaven. And him and Duke go into heaven. It's such a powerful episode. I was crying.
Should have had a little thing at the end there where he's like, "But listen, Jesus, like the fact that the entrance to heaven is further away from the entrance to the underworld than the entrance to hell, and that kiosk looks exactly the same as yours. You're setting a lot of people up. You got a lot of people in hell who were just eager to get to heaven,
Right?
right?
What if they
Who were
didn't
like,
have his
"Oh,
dog?
Steve can't. Your dog, Ruffles can't come in. Like, fuck it. He'd piss all over heaven's carpet anyway. Let me.
This is
in,
my
you know?
wife's dog, actually.
This is my wife's dog.
Go home,
What-
girl.
And I know
What
she's
if I
not in
just
there.
drown and I don't have a dog with me? And the other guy's like, "Hey, come on in." I'm like, "Yeah, sounds great."
Well, I have very little experience here, so I'm gonna take your word for it. You like, I'll walk in.
Yeah, you don't make it. And I really like the one from where John Lithgow. Oh, that was in the movie, but in the TV show, it's William Shatner, who's on the plane. He has the fear of flying, and the gremlins out on the wing chewing up the engine, and nobody will believe him. And then in the movie,
that's a good one.
it's John Lithgow, and nobody believes John Lithgow. I like that one a lot. I like the Last Man. That's called Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. I like the one where the guy wants to read, and the world blows up, and then he breaks his fucking glasses. That's a good one.
I like the one where there's a kid who's all powerful,
Mm.
and everyone has to keep him happy, but he's very moody and hard to keep happy.
Yep.
And he's impossible to love, but if you don't love him, he punishes you. So-
Yeah. Think happy thoughts. Think happy thoughts. Think happy thoughts.
Oh, he reads your mind, right?
Yeah. He's like, you were thinking bad. He thinks him off to some nightmare land or into the cartoon world or something. Yeah, that was in the movie as well. Yeah, Twilight Zone was out there. They had so many interesting concepts. There was the one where the mannequin woman, like the mannequins get to go out and be a real person like one night a month, and they each take turns doing it, and the woman doesn't realize that she's one of the mannequins, and she has to go back. Who was writing that shit? There's so many bizarre.
Well, it was Sterling, the same
Was
guy
it?
writing a lot of it, right?
I remember there's one where this stranger comes into a bar late at night and nobody trusts him. I think they think he's like a Russian spy, and they end up like mob killing him. They because they don't trust him. And when they like check they like rifle through his pockets, and there was some sort of fire involved, because like when they pull this thing out of his pocket, it's all half burnt, and it says like "Greetings from another world, Earthlings. Enclosed is the cure to all diseases that plague man." And then it's burnt off at the bottom because there's a lot of stuff about paranoia and sort of the paranoia that because the Cold War was of course raging at that time. There's a lot of stuff like that, like seeing things from the other person's point of view. A lot of scenarios where like the nukes got dropped and the war got set off.
Oh, when like that old lady is in her house in the middle of nowhere, and that little alien ship shows up, and it's like a whole episode of her trying to figure it out or like get rid of it, and they're like the alien ship's being nefarious and it's gonna get her, and then in the end it's like it was humans.
Yeah.
That were in the alien ship, and they landed on some giant planet, and they just happened to land in like a rural area at some lady's house.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, neat.
They're like radioing back home.
Yeah.
Kind of related. There's a new Cloverfield coming out. Have you guys heard about it?
No.
Yeah.
So
They're not That's like the thing that's interesting about it is they're not advertising it. They're not marketing it. They're hardly even telling people about it. I think they just announced a release date. I'm Googling it.
That's not gonna do well because movies advertise for a reason.
I wonder what it's going to be, okay? Because the last one was really interesting, and it ended on a cliffhanger. Aliens, and she had like a fork in the road, and she decided to like turn to go to where there were people like banding together to be like part of the resistance or whatever. Are they going to lead off with that, or is this going to be a whole nother thing? I loved the last one. I thought it was excellent.
So they're not telling us much about Cloverfield 3. Oh, April 20th. That's really what I was looking to find. And there is a trailer, I guess. I haven't seen it yet. And so we know some of the actors and actresses. It's interesting. It's an interesting way, I guess, and it's kind of working. They're getting people talking about it as opposed to just traditional marketing. We'll see.
I'm looking for the trailer.
It's hurting Taylor in his core.
Yeah, I like had a weird cough.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that. Have you guys watched Love, Death, Robots yet? The newest.
No, not the new one.
Six or
I
seven
saw it just
episodes or whatever.
dropped.
I hope
I
it's
watched-
a couple of hits because that's a very hit or miss show.
They're all good, but one. There's one about this like sort of spirit of the river who's like got scales of gold, and she like screams as her weapon, and it kills everybody except for the one deaf guy. It's dumb, and it's nonverbal. It's all like because it's
Stupid.
not. Yeah, I didn't like that one. That one was not for me. But the rest of them are pretty sick. You've got like a Cthulhu monster one with the military involved. You've got the CIA built like a mech grizzly bear, and this like squad of like funny kind of GI Joe type characters like have to face off against it, and it's really gory and really funny. They got, I don't know, that one was really good. And there was a really weird sci-fi one where they're interacting with this sort of swarm of intelligence in space that was kind of unsettling and creepy, and I didn't even like. I don't know. That one was weird.
I really
like
want
them
to
all.
like that show more than I like it.
Oh, there was one. So if you remember from the very first season, there's the three little robots who are looking at humanity's like.
Barely. Yeah.
They come back. They come back to preach to us about the 1%. So like that one was lame as fuck. Like they're like, oh yeah, the tech millionaires hid here, and the tech billionaires went here, and it's like, oh, get the fuck out of here. I don't care. Are you really talking about microplastics?
Yeah, why would they care? They're made of microplastics.
Well, they were like laughing at humanity. And then they made fun of gun owners. like it was like these are the poors. They thought their guns would save them. And then it was like these you had where the poors, how the poors died, how the tech millionaires died, and then how the tech billionaires died, because I guess like those are the three classes of humanity.
Wow, sounds like it was written by retards.
I didn't like that one, but I like the rest of them. And I really, every time I see one of them that has that like almost photorealistic animation, and I'm like, oh wait, I know that actor, but that's not really that actor. That's
Like Scanner Darkly, that looking thing.
Really, really like photorealistic, and like I don't know, like you'll catch it occasionally, be like, oh, that his kind of moved funny there, but for the most part, it looks like just real actors in animation. I don't know. I dig that show so much. There's a lot of I feel like there's a little bit of creative license being taken, not creative license, freedom. There's a lot of freedom for the creators that like submit that animation, because I'm guessing each of them is produced by a completely different studio who's like, and they're all collaborating together, and that's why they're all so varied. But
yeah, that's why some are horrific and some are marginal.
well,
But the art style is totally different. Like everything about them is different.
like you need that though if you're going to get like those outliers that are excellent. You need those outliers that are poor. Like you need to be letting people like push the boundaries of what, because I'm sure like some executive probably wanted to say no to the one where the guy is like fucking that disgusting alien insect creature for all of eternity, and but he doesn't know it because it's in his mind. That one still like makes it so unsettling.
Which one is? I don't remember that one.
It's where like
I'll
he's
watch
like-
it. Is it season 1 or 2? I must have missed that one.
I think it's last season. I think it's season 2. It's a space one. It's where he warps through space, and he's being fed this fantasy in his head that he's like hooking up with a beautiful woman and rekindling his relationship with her. And in reality, he's like been there for years being like fed on, and actually he's been like having sex with the most disgusting space insect you can imagine.
But he's having fun.
Well, that was the kind of the crux of the issue. He's like, show me what's real, and she's like, you're not ready for that. and by the way, the fantasy version of her, you can't imagine a more like beautiful, voluptuous like woman. Like it's incredible. Like the they should just be making porn.
Yeah,
So,
he
like,
should just live in the
He's like,
Matrix.
show me what's real, and she's like, you're not ready for that one yet. Let's just show me. And she's like, all right. And like he sees that he's in like this barren wasteland, and he's ragged and dirty and bearded, and his clothes are almost rotted off of him. And then the creature like comes on all these like scorpion legs out of its hole with this disgusting, I think it had tits, but like just the most
Like
awful
bad
looking
tits.
thing ever. And then you just see his face, and he's just screaming in horror. He's ah ah, and I was just
But did the critter like him?
oh yeah.
Well, then it seems friendly
so then
enough.
snap, and he's like right back into like that fantasy world that replays over and over every day. So it's not a bad gig.
Hmm.
And what does the creature get out of this? Sex?
I can't remember. I think that she was just lonely, you know.
Just lonely and horny and covered
Not the
in
point of
ant
the story,
legs and
though, right?
spiders. So.
Yeah, not really the point of the story. I think it
Yeah.
was more
Well, that's
about-
what I got fixated on. So.
Yeah. Oh, that was a rough one. No, I love that show a lot. There's only been a handful of truly shitty ones. The one with that giant from last season was just
That was the
my
worst ever.
my time was wasted. Like
Dude, and
Netflix
what's
owes
funny-
me $3 for that.
There was so much potential to be cool.
It was like a 14-minute film. It wasn't super long. But through like 11 minutes of it, I was still excited about the payoff. Like where this was going to go, what was going to happen. And basically a giant falls on the beach and rots. So at first you're like, it's going to come back to life. It's not really dead. Oh, wait a minute. This seems weird. And then like enough time goes on and you're like, oh, this is literally just a big rotting corpse and the story of it.
yeah.
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 I thought
And
I was like,
I
okay,
was
he's going to
hoping-
come back to life. Okay, he's not going to come back to life, but one of his kind
Zombie?
will come back to get him.
Yeah, right.
Okay, they won't do that. But
I
no,
thought
it's just a
I thought
stupid
they were going to
sauna.
disrespect his body because they were like spray painting it and jumping on it. And
Yeah,
stuff.
they were fucking him.
And someone fucked a poor. They got it to a real big. They found a real big blackhead poor and fucked the shit out of it. Fucked a giant once, and, and so I thought his people were gonna come and find like some hillbillies fucking pores, and they were just gonna go ape shit and like ruin the village.
Mhm.
And the end of the story was gonna be like, and that was the last day that humanity stood tall.
Yeah, I thought it would be some trick like,
I
oh,
would've slow
humanity
clapped
was
for that.
actually the big guy, not the little guy, and we, or something like that.
The old Twilight Zone, like where like
Mhm.
our main character was the bad guy the whole time.
There's a giant woman on this planet. Yeah, that same one.
Or there was one where like the kids were training for their like mission, and it seemed like they're training to go like fight the aliens, right? And they're like in a camp that's a mix between like summer camp and like a military like operation. And at the end, they're like, "Yes, soon we'll do it." And they look up, and it's the fucking Earth that like they're on some sort of like camouflaged moon base training to like invade our planet. And you're like, dun dun dun. I like that shit. I've been watching Tales from the Crypt all week.
All the old ones?
The old ones. So they're stuck in some sort of like trademark shit where like I think they were originally on HBO maybe, but
That's
like
such a stupid show.
I'm watching.
Tales
No,
from the
it's,
Crypt.
it's not a
bad.
stupid show. It's really well.
Horrendous.
It's written by like really respected people, directed
It's
by
a
really
bad
respected people, and
show.
acted by really respected people.
I like the
They're
one with
great.
Elvira more, the boob one.
Oh fuck off! This stuff is great.
It's
they're
great,
really
but it
good.
doesn't have the
Okay,
hocus
that one was
pocus.
good.
Anybody who wants to join me in the nostalgia that is Tales from the Crypt, just head on over to YouTube and search Tales from the Crypt.
And then imagine me watching with you.
Wait, that's not episode 600.
Imagine the things I'd say.
This is where I like pause and like that's
Be your own Kyle Starkett.
this is 2 years before the Andy Griffith show. And then I pause, I play it again, and we go. It's the most boring minutia. But no, there's a big playlist with absolutely all of the episodes, and there's a ton. But there's no other way to watch it that I've found. I really do like that show. I think y'all are giving it a bad rap. I think if you rewatch some of it, it's like Black Mirror
Huh.
That's
or something
generous.
like that. It's right. It's cut from the same cloth as a show
Where's
like Black
Black
Mirror.
Mirror been? I feel like that's 2 years overdue. Am I crazy?
I think
Maybe.
no, they did have a recent season, like I guess 2 years
did that
ago.
Miley
It was
Cyrus
pretty
shit.
crap. It was pretty crappy.
Yeah, I refuse
It
to watch
was.
Miley Cyrus. I don't respect
like
her
that.
acting. Only her vagina.
What's wrong with her vagina?
Oh no, I do
I mean,
respect her
said,
vagina.
he said he respects that. Yeah.
That's
Oh.
the
Yeah.
I
He started
I think
there.
she's really hot, and I even like that like scratchy voice she's got, which I'm guessing is from extreme drug use. What the
Have
fuck
you seen
happened?
her sing Jolene?
I love it. I love it.
So good.
Yeah, have
She
you seen her
loves to
pissing
smoke.
you ever seen her pissing in a parking lot? She does it all the time and puts it on Instagram. It's great.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's
Like, I'm
just
not
having-
into that
that's
sort
just
of
having
thing, but
fun.
I'll take what I can get.
He's delivering this with a very straight face. It's tough to get a read.
I mean,
There's a world in which that's real.
does anyone want to bet me that Miley Cyrus doesn't upload pictures of herself pissing in parking lots?
I've seen those pictures. I'm not going to make that bet. The sci-fi section on there
Gotcha.
to see what series they had.
Yes.
Babylon 5. Is that a good series? Is it stupid? Is
That's
it
a
because I
throwback.
scrolled past it and it was like a deep space opera that's dramatic, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of enticing to me.
so
Maybe try it.
So I don't want to offend the one Babylon 5 fan out there.
Oh,
so,
it's bad.
No. I think it's excellent, but it's outdated because of what it's shot on and because of some of the special effects. And it was really good for its time. And I'll tell you how it's best enjoyed. It's best enjoyed through YouTube snippets of a couple of the more conniving characters being devious to one another. Like there's a lot of Game of Thrones-esque, those scenes of Game of Thrones where like Viserys and Littlefinger would be in some fucking boardroom, like trading barbs.
Yeah, I love
There's
that.
some great scenes like that in there. Like but then like I don't know, there's some spaceship policing and then they show the exterior of the ship and it's like, man, I can't watch this show. I'm sorry, it doesn't look good enough anymore. But again, there are some YouTube clips of like one. I don't know the characters' names, but there's this one guy who has this ridiculous. He's an alien. He has this silly haircut with like 2 different stripes of hair on either side of his head that go like from front to back, and he's like telling this guy how you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that and you're gonna do this, and he's like, why would I do any of that? He's like, well, for one thing, that thing you just drank, well, that's a bomb. There's a tiny bomb in that drink you just drank, and anytime I want, I can detonate. It's the size of 8 molecules, or whatever he says. I can blow you up anytime. And you know what the best part? If you ever try to take it out, I get a notification, and then I'll kill you then. And it's something like that. And I just remember, like the way he delivered it, like so maniacally. I was like, oh man, this could be a good show.
Yeah,
But
you
no,
should watch
can't.
Battlestar
Can't do it.
Galactica.
I'd be like, I followed
Battlestar
up that-
Galactica is the show. All right.
I followed up that drink with some frosted mini wheats, and that shit'll be out by lunchtime.
Yeah, I'm going to drink 40 ounces of coffee, and then you're going to be looking for your little valuable piece of equipment in the toilet.
So yeah, that's a thumbs up as a good series with great writing and an amazing story, and
Babylon
it's groundbreaking in many ways. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. But it's a thumbs down as far as should you watch it.
Battlestar Galactica, you say,
That's-
10 on 10.
That's 10
Love
out of 10,
Battlestar.
especially
Love
like the first
Battlestar.
couple of 3
even
seasons.
better than Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica
Yeah.
is going to end. It's going to give you a conclusion, which you would never get from the Star Trek universe.
And without spoiling it all, that ending was really good, and I liked it. And
It was okay.
I saw what they did. Oh, okay.
Oh,
liked it a
no,
lot more.
I vibe with Woody on that. I was kind of like, I am an idiot.
Oh, you like the whole full circle thing? Like that I'm fine with. I just thought, without getting too spoily about Battlestar Galactica, there was a point where it was like, is everyone a Cylon? Like, who isn't? Who here's a still a who? Show me the real humans. Because for a while it was like, oh,
Have you ever
shit,
played that
there's
board
one
game?
of them amongst us.
The Battlestar
and then by the end,
Galactica?
it's like, no, of course not.
So the Battlestar Galactica board game is so sick because everyone you
I
choose
bet it
your
is.
character, whoever you want to be, and then everyone gets a card that says you're not a Cylon. But someone will get a card, most likely at least one person will get a card that says you are a Cylon. If you're the character Gaius, who you want to play as, there are some pros and cons for every character.
Gaius is
Gaius
amazing.
gets 2 shots at maybe being a Cylon. So whoever's playing Gaius, you're like, they're probably a Cylon. He has 2 fucking cards, which it goes well with the show.
and
then
if
what's
he's
really
not
cool-
one, then it really is
What's
great
really-
for the
exactly
actual
what's-
2 Cylons.
And what's really crazy is you start to like politic with one another, and you're like, I should be the president for whatever reason, or someone
I
will be
wanna
like,
play
I should be
Gaius.
leading the military for whatever reason, and you vote who is the most trustworthy, and sometimes the most trustworthy person has proven themselves by doing these missions, and you're like, he's definitely not a Cylon, so you vote him as president. Maybe you vote him as head of military too. And then halfway through the point, there's a certain moment where Cylon cards are given out again.
So now you find out that you are a Cylon and you have been the
double
whole
mind
time,
fuck.
like the show, and maybe you were the president or
Oh.
someone, and you're like,
Yeah.
and you start
Taylor,
looking at
do you
each
know
other.
This seems like fun.
Do you know the lore of Battlestar Galactica? Because I can lay it out in like 8
I
seconds
know.
or something.
Pretend I don't know a thing. Pretend
Imagine.
I know nothing.
You've
about
you've got a spacefaring human society that's colonized many worlds of a single star system, and they can bounce around between them. They have these war vessels called Battlestars that are kind of outclassed. They're essentially space aircraft carriers, and they were the real hammer of like human might during the Cylon Wars, which is when they fought their robot slaves that went rogue, which for the longest time were like walking toasters. They even call them as such. And every 10 years since the war, they maybe every year, maybe like a human rep shows up in case the Cylons want to talk at a designated location, and they wait on them to show up and talk. It hasn't happened for 180 years, 90 years. We haven't even seen them since the war and the peace was declared. All of a sudden, the human shows up. He's some like military bureaucrat sitting there at the table, waiting on nobody to show up like they have every other day of his career. And a spaceship docks, and he's like, "Wait, what? What?" And they dock, and the doors slide open, and in walk these two imposing warrior bots. They do the best they can, and then walks the sexiest blonde woman you've ever seen in a red fucking dress. Maybe she will be later on if she's not already wearing it. And she walks up to this motherfucker and like grabs his cheek and kisses him. And then you zoom out to the whole fucking spaceship exploding. All of it explodes, and the war has begun. And the Cylons are back, and they look like us, but nobody knows that. And they've been a version of her has interworked into the humans' entire defense network. So there's a judgment day that comes, sort of where 95% of all of humanity at least is just killed. Nuclear war, it rains down. There are our own weapons used against us in some cases, and everything is gone. And the only humans left, for the most part, are running and gunning on like military vessels and civilian vessels that have formed a fleet. But the Cylons aren't just starting a war, they're exterminating humanity. In their machine minds, they decided they all have to go. That's the only way. So they're continuously chasing the human fleet. And the way their faster than light travel works, it's these jumps. They have to do their math and then instantly sort of appear a few light years away, whatever it is. Every time they jump, they start a clock. This is episode 3. You can see nobody has slept in days. Everybody, circles under their eyes. The clock has begun. It's ticking down. Like every 25 minutes, they have to jump again because the Cylons are jumping right behind them. And every time they can only jump so fast. That's the problem. They got to recharge and go again. And the Cylons are catching up on them. Every time they reset and jump again, the Cylons have caught them and been fighting them a little bit longer, a couple seconds longer. They shoot their missiles off, and the missiles are coming for them, and they jump. That's how close they are behind them. It's the remnants of humanity running, and they're trying to establish a government between the civilians and the military. It's a very
and they're pointing at everyone on the ship being like, you're a fucking Cylon, or someone does something weird and they're like, why are you lying? Are you a Cylon? And like everyone's like, bro, this guy's like, I literally would call whenever a friend fucked up the night or did something like drop the joint, we'd all be like, you fucking Cylon, we should throw you in the airlock.
They have to figure out who
the joint.
They have to figure out who the president is. They have to figure out who the president of the colonies is, because they had like a structure like that. The education secretary happens to be the last remaining in the line of succession, and she's aboard the school ship. And they're like, Madam President, and she's like, oh shit. Yeah, and the
Admiral
Admiral is played
James
by
Olmos.
Edward James Olmos.
Yeah,
Man, look,
in his
he
best.
lost the battle against acne, but he never lost against the Cylons. God damn it, he took a tooth and nail, and that man somehow made himself look fit for those boxing scenes later on in season 3.
I got.
It sounds good. It sounds like a very interesting premise.
Before I forget, I wanted to ask you guys something, like an opinion question, completely different, but I'd like to hear each of your takes on it.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel? Let's just say if us four, like, pulled up to the mall or a movie theater. We got a time to catch. And we're pull up to the movie theater and we're driving down this row. And it's just like, if we just go 2 more cars, turn right, and then right, we'll be on the other row. But there's people looking for cars. How do you feel about one of us getting out of the vehicle and taking up the spot?
No. Not only that, I don't want to retell the story, but like in fast forward is what he would say. Taylor's dad sent him to get a man who was a boy, a kid, teenager out of the spot. The guy was standing, taking a spot. Taylor grabbed the guy, picked him up, got him out of the fucking way, and Taylor's dad rolled into the spot. And I'm not talking about 20 years ago. I'm talking about like 5 years ago.
This was like 5 years ago.
I'm on the other side of this. I think that if we're on this mission and we have the parking lot champion with us, we take advantage of that. Put him in the spot.
I didn't know we had a parking lot champion.
Taylor, we've seen your defense. How's your offense?
Wait. No, I didn't know we had a parking lot champion. That's a phenomenal story.
Going into the movie theater, putting a mouth guard in.
Taylor gets down in a 3-point stance.
Wait, Taylor's not with us now.
O-line.
Would you go stand in the spot?
No. I removed that guy from the spot as a way to restore order to parking.
Oh, you didn't take the spot yourself?
We took it because he was attempting to reserve under false pretenses.
He didn't have a car.
So you
was just standing there.
But you removed him on false pretenses.
I removed him physically because he was
foot.
Not in a car. He was on foot. He was standing in a spot reserving it for someone. And then I moved him.
This is the best.
I restored order, and I would never use my powers to reserve seats. I'm not about that. Get there early. If you want to reserve seats, let's be respectful to everyone else. It's selfish to just have one person there reserving seats. Seinfeld figured this out 25 years ago. It's I don't care for it. Don't like it.
Wait, so if you got into the theater, I wasn't even talking about that.
Right here.
And I'm going to have a picnic in a parking spot. I'll put a quarter in the meter.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
What I do is I go in and I go, everyone.
When you brought up something that I felt about it was like I was having this debate with my friends, and I was like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go stand in the spot. But if I were driving down the spot and someone used the buddy system to take the spot, I'd be like, huh, and I would keep going.
All right, so,
I wouldn't say shit. I wouldn't do shit. I sure as hell would go if my dad told me to pick that fucking kid up and move him. I would be like, yes, father. But other than that, like, I'm like, fair play. Like, this is the Wild West out here.
Yeah, it depends on the situation, right? Like I'll say this: if I saw that now, I would just move along because I am a felon, and I can't. and the law is probably going to side with whoever I get into the scuffle with in the parking lot, and it is just a parking spot. However, I can imagine a time when I was younger, and maybe my boys were with me, when we would not have put up with that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like I could totally see an ass.
Are you allowed to do that?
No, like I'll say this: if I did it, I would know that I was doing wrong.